it down, and then at the end, when we have that long session of Q&A, we will then allow you the opportunity to ask your question. And then we also want to know how you thought the session went, and if you were actually assisted and you received the clarities that you required. So we will be sending out a satisfaction survey so that you can then give us also recommendations on how best we can implement the CEO Roadshow in the future. If you're saying we must come to the Eastern Cape, note that down. So now to get into the business of the day, I would like to introduce the first section of today's session, which will be presented by the FASSET CEO, Ms. Ayanda Mafulega. Her leadership and vision have been quite instrumental in steering FASSET through a rapidly evolving skills landscape. She will take us through the strategic direction underpinning FASSET's 5-year plan as we are journeying towards 2030 now. And she will also highlight some finance priorities and also just highlight some of our performances as well, so that you are also understanding of the landscape that we currently sit in as a SETA in terms of performance. And then she will also get into some of the future plans. So once again, please allow me to welcome to the floor Ms. Ayanda Mafulega.
That's doing well. Sanbonan, good morning. Someone greeted me at the back and said Molweni, so I'll take it they are people who are coming from the other province, and they say lady who's wearing something pink who's coming from the fellow TVET College. I could hear that everyone that is not only from the province, most of you have come from the land of the schools, some are from other provinces. Allow me to greet you that are also online. Warm greetings. I feel so comfortable today. Not only that, it's leg of the CEO Roadshow. Most because I am my home. I'm home, say greetings to all. So I'm really gonna stick to the script, the written script. But always say when we do these road shows, it's not about you listening to us. It's more about also I listen to you, because as a sector, we exist as FASSET because of the sector. We are here to serve the sector, not to tell the sector what needs to be done, but it's the sector, our stakeholders, that must tell us what to do, what we need to do, because we are here to serve our stakeholders. So from time to time, I will get into the script so that someone doesn't lose his job. Really, it is an honor and a privilege to be here this morning just to engage with you, and I welcome you all into the FASSET CEO Roadshow. But mostly, I want to reiterate and emphasize that the Roadshow is an important platform for engagement, collaboration, and refine that strategic alignment. I'm glad that as I was greeting some of you, some they are new into into FASSET. They've not done anything with FASSET. Royal, is it Oxford University for schools and the printing. So I say, please ask as many questions as you like, and see how you can collaborate and participate at FASSET. We might not cover everything that you want to hear, but I encourage you that you do ask questions. Definitely after this session, I am not going to run away. So I'm going to be here tackling some of your questions and just to get to know you as my stakeholders. So, ladies and gentlemen, Vusi has said, our program director, well done. Really, we really need to confer you as the program director. You have been directing these engagements very well. Okay. The theme for this roadshow is Your Voice Blueprints Our Strategic Direction. we need you to carve our strategic direction. So really this is a call to action. It's an invitation to you stakeholders to actively contribute towards shaping FASSET's 2026-2027 strategic implementation priorities. We are in the new financial year. Towards the end of the year, when we come for the AGM, hopefully we'll come for the AGM in KZN in December. Then I will share with you how we have done, how we have implemented. But this engagement is then going to set the tone how, as FASSET, we implement in this current financial year. So we will be opening windows, discretionary grant windows, inviting your participation. But allow me to reiterate again to say your voice matters. Your participation matters, and your contribution helps shape the future direction of the FASSET sector. So I am not going to get into much into the national development and FASSET priorities, but let me just fly through those. That, ladies and gentlemen, all of us we know that South Africa continues to face significant social economic challenges, including high unemployment rate, poverty, inequality, and we find ourselves now in a rapid technological disruption. So our medium-term development plan 2029 have prioritized the following: inclusive growth and job creation. So I am talking to the job creators in this room. Our medium-term development plan 2029 also prioritizes increasing employment opportunities. I will plead with you, sector and employers to open doors for employment opportunities and host our interns. Looking at one of the priorities is improving governance and reducing poverty, and lastly, building a capable developmental state. That is also in the National Development Plan of 2030. And the SETAs, through the National Skills Development Plan, then plugs into the National Development Plan of 2030. We are in the last leg, last 5 years of the NDP and the NSDP 2030. So as fast as it is our responsibility to ensure that our sector contributes meaningfully towards these national priorities. And by the way, when the seventh administration came to power last year or 2 years back, 2024, time flies. 2024, the GNU, one of the priorities for Department of Higher Education and Learning, among others, is JET skills, just energy transition. So that is also the master plan for the country. So we are also looking for collaborations around those skills. Finance plugs perfectly into that because any interventions need funding. So that is where we come in. So our strategic priorities then for 2026, 2027, we are still on the 7 pillars or 7 priorities. But what I want to highlight, I'm going to highlight 2 because transformation still remains central to our mandate. So as FASSET, we are still committed to increasing participation for young people, women, persons with disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, that is very important. We are still in our programs, we are still not doing well in empowering and participation of persons with disabilities. So I will tell you the target, what we are targeted now. So TVET colleges are here, universities are here, employers that are here to say we need to prioritize those persons with disabilities. The program manager, when they come to when they come to speak and unpack the 43 interventions, program skills, program interventions that will be funding she will unpack even that those persons with disability, those programs, we do have special accommodations for them, and so their funding is more than the normal. So please let us go out there, and they are part of the our society. When we talk of transformation, we talk of inclusivity. So, and then we'll also be prioritizing and participating for this in programs for historically disadvantaged individuals within the finance sector. Our second major priority for this year is strengthening stakeholder engagement and partnerships. This includes partnerships with universities. I'm happy to announce that we have MOUs with all the 26 public universities in the country, but it must not end there. So our priority is to strengthen those partnerships. I'm seeing DUT here. Two weeks ago, I got a call of some of the challenges. So that is part of strengthening, to say let's be on a communication basis so that we nurture this partnership and we deliver excellently for our beneficiaries. Same with the TVET colleges. We have partnerships, MOUs, with all the 50 public TVET colleges in the country. So we will be also be focusing. Yes, please do clap. FASSET is everywhere. FASSET is everywhere. It is a sin for us. It's a criminal offense for us to not take FASSET to the people. So we have those partnerships with those TVET colleges, and most, and actually not most, all of our satellite offices in the regions or in the provinces. Well, it might be also because of the budgetary constraints, but we are located in the TVET colleges. So our satellite office in KZN in Durban, it is at the eThekwini TVET College. Okay. We will also be strengthening our partnership with the CET colleges, all 9 CET's colleges in the country. There are 9 of them, and we have MOUs with them, and we have even provided infrastructure, much needed infrastructure in those CET colleges, all of them in the country. Our focus also will be partnering with government department, government entities. Thank you that there is the representative from the Office of the Premier, KZN. I did not get a chance to greet everyone. Hopefully there's also one from the Treasury, KZN Treasury, because those are the government department and entities that we are partnering with. We have partnered with all 9 provincial treasuries, including the National Treasury and other government as well. So we are everywhere because the skills that we need to produce for the country, they are cross-sectoral. So every sector, every industry needs a finance skill, needs accountants, needs auditors, needs tax practitioners. So we cannot only we cannot adopt the narrow-minded approach. Also organized labor. We do have a program. The PM will unpack that 3.2 program indicator that that we have partnership with organized labor, where we empower even our organized labor partners, the unions, and the shop stewards. They go through the training, and we're funding it as well. And then critically for me is the sector employers. Okay, I might not have mentioned, the schools, they fall under basic education, but Principal Ngubane, we do have programs that are at the high school level, like we are adopting poor performing schools, and we are no longer more about funding the well-performing schools. So in this financial year, we are adopting 3 schools that underperformed in the whole country. Like, 2 weeks back or last week, was it last week or 2 weeks back? Last week, okay, thank you. We went to the school. We launched a program with the school that we were adopting, the school in Limpopo that achieved 0% for matric last year. That was last year. The 0% that you heard of last year, it's not. We are not going to hear all of it because we are there. We are empowering the teachers and the learners because we want them to pass. So we are going to come to your school as well and assist. We will say not in our watch that our children, for whatever reason, sometimes it's a systematic issue, then that they get prejudiced. So, but as far as that, because our main aim is to also increase the intake from schools to the university so that they can choose the qualifications within the sector. I believe I said last week to them, they are not defined by the 0% statistics that they receive, because I believe there will still be accountants that are going to come out of there. Okay, so one thing that I just want to get into, so sector employers, please, it is important that we strengthened that partnership. Is it Bright Mobile? Because yes. So we want to strengthen that partnership as well, because as we fund those learnerships, they are able to go through and be professionals and go to and then enter the market. So we, if there are those challenges, where we are here to address those challenges. I am calling them upon because I have met some of you here. Not that I know them better. So also on the WSP, it also starts there, ladies and gentlemen. We have noticed and observed a decline in the submission of the workplace skills plan. I just want to urge you that it all starts there by submitting the WSP so that you can participate in our mandatory grants. So please, we are very concerned that there has been a decline in that, because the WSP, ladies and gentlemen, they are so important because they help us to identify sector trends, sector occupational demands, and future workforce requirements. So you need to tell us through those WSPs what you need. Unfortunately, we don't have a crystal ball. We cannot guess. So please, I want to urge you and encourage you to submit to us, not just for the sake of submission, but also quality WSP and active, and participate as well. We are finding ourselves with a skills mismatch. We are training, but we're not training for what the sector wants. So it is important that we keep that that match, and we will avoid that mismatch. So I'm not going to really then get into it. So let me point out some of the programs that we'll be implementing that remain strategic and that are also aligned with the National Skills Development Plan. Our programs this year will also continue to focus on linking education and the workplace, improving workforce skills through, we have lifelong learning, and that is where we improve and upskill and learn and relearn. People like me who qualified 2 years ago. So we also just want to take that opportunity to make sure that there is improvement in our workforce skills. Supporting entrepreneurship. That is very important, that is key, and not only as a FASSET or a FASSET sector priority, as a national priority as well. For the past 10 years, even more than that, our economy has not been growing as fast as we want. So, and there's that school of thought that it will be through entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship that will create jobs and enable them to have our economy growing. So there will be those programs. PM will further unpack on those. We want to also increase occupational programs, access to occupational programs, and supporting public colleges. We are still on course on that, and strengthening career development services. We want to go to the rural schools and tell and make awareness around careers that our children can choose. Most of the people that I know who are chartered accountants today, when you listen to them, the thread or the narrative that they will say is, I didn't know about this career or this profession until someone came to my school, or until I heard it through the radio, until so it is not the profession that you get to know about it out of the blue. So it is our imperative obligation and social compact that as the SETA, we go and spread the word and awareness of careers. We are still short of extra science, so it's extra, okay, just say extra. We're still short of a black, maybe I say African chartered accountants, and actually black, because colored and Indians, they are not making the majority, by the way. We're still short of other professions in our sector. So it is important that even at those learners from the rural schools get to know that. So our programs that we will do, we'll still expand on them, scale up on them. Obviously, as the budget avails, bursaries, we will still offer bursaries. I know that we are offering bursaries through all the TVET colleges, internships, wheel programs, learnerships, workplace placements, professional body programs. I have not met any professional body in the room. Hopefully there is, or online. We'll be scaling up on entrepreneurial skills, digital skills training. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. There's a digital economy that is emerging. So as the SETAs, it is important that we move with times as well. So we'll be focusing and scaling up on our digital skills training. And more importantly, rural development initiatives. I am in the province that is also have the bigger part of the province being rural. And we know other provinces like Eastern Cape as well. So rural development initiatives are very important. We've got Ukola that is here. That please do speak to him so that he can come and identify the areas where these skills initiatives are needed. Most importantly, I've said transformation is very important. We're still focusing on beneficiaries who that are Black African. 85% of that, 54% at least be women participation, and you can even rocket up to 60%. We'll continue with women empowerment programs. Currently, we are in partnership with the Office of the AGSA and OCA, African Women Chartered Accountants, where we are empowering women leaders in the public sector. So we've done the first 2,000 within less than 3 years, where we've empowered them. They are seated at the boards, and we are going to be looking into also the women empowerment programs that will also focus on them, placing them in the boardrooms where decisions are made, because we still have a less representation of women in the boardrooms. So I thought you guys would clap for that. We want to build that pool so that when they need a board chair of a JSE listed company, they look for a woman and they find a woman. We'll also just be focusing on the target for our persons with disability. Can we exceed the national target? So want to exceed the 4%. So we prioritize, and I'm telling you now, for free, we're going to be prioritizing those programs where there will be persons with disability. That one, it will get my signature as number one, that one. And then most of our programs, then it will mostly be youth participation. Let me just skip on this one. So I just want to get into then the digital skills. It is important that in our SSP, it has come back and shows that actually the finance and accounting sector is changing rapidly. And as FASSET, we need to respond proactively as well. So these are the emerging occupations within our sector. They include artificial intelligence specialists. So take that as a cue. That is what the sector have told us. So we need you stakeholders to then start looking into those skills and see how you assist us to then implement those skills. For artificial intelligence specialist, data analyst, ICT security specialist, cloud architect, fintech specialist, and ESG and sustainability professionals. So then this means our institutions, employers, and learners must prepare for a digitally enabled economy. Then just for your information purposes, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to then inform you that governance at FASSET is stabilized. We now have a fully constituted and fully functional board that is providing strategic oversight and governance leadership. So the board was fully appointed and complemented in September, and we had our chairperson that was appointed in December. So now the governance at FASSET is stabilized, and in addition, there is an appointment of the CEO until March 2030. That will also allow and provide long-term leadership stability, continuity, and strategic focus. So that person is standing before you. And really, this stability will position FASSET to focus decisively on implementation and impact. And as far as our financial sustainability and our financial outlook, it also demonstrates that there is an organizational sustainability and growth. Our levies for the past 3 years, well, this is how it has been. So you'll see that our total revenue for the past 5 years or 4 years from 21-20, it has been steadily growing in this current financial year. 2026-2027, we are projecting that you are going to hit the 1 billion mark. And then I thought we were going to clap for that. And then for 28, no, I need besaziwa njenge smolanyana sita. Smolanyana sita. But it's thank you to our levy payers. Thank you, stakeholders. Really, we don't take this for granted. And in 28-29 financial year, we are projecting that we'll be comfortably seated at about 1.2 billion. So, however, exciting that it is, but we must still keep strong governance, accountability, improve internal controls, and responsible stewardship of public resources. It rhymes nice, the billion rhymes nice, but we must also exercise a proper and responsible stewardship of these public resources. So also just for your information is that FASSET has achieved clean audit outcomes for the 4 consecutive years. So the team is hard at work, finalizing for 26-27. Hopefully, at the end of the year, I'll be saying FASSET has been achieving clean audits for the 5 consecutive years. And number 5 rhymes nicely. Yes. We've just finalized our 2025-2026 performance information report. In my tenure, we've just now hit 100%. We have achieved 100% of all our organizational goals unaudited. Probably in July, then will be confirmed, that we have received 100%. We've been around 98%, right? So now, sesidlalela kubo 100%. So lastly, colleagues, I just want to listen from you as well, but let me acknowledge some of the challenges, implementation challenges that we still experience, that are still experienced by our stakeholders, particularly delay in payments of the stipends, late payment of the stipends, late responses in terms of giving you guys feedback, from the evaluation processes. I acknowledge that, and really I urge the stakeholders, as we fully understand the frustration and the hardship that this creates for our learners, our beneficiaries, the institutions, and the implementing agents. As leadership, we are actively working to strengthen operational efficiency, improve turnaround times, and strengthen monitoring processes, and improve coordination with implementing partners to minimize these delays. The team will put in the email that you can use for the escalation. They says talk to the CEO at FASSET.org.za. We are really working hard on that. It is really embarrassing and humiliating having to get on a Sunday a text message from a learner said, I have not been paid my stipend for 5 months. It's just not on. And without really, I always say we cannot be pointing fingers. So really we want to acknowledge that, and we want to work with the host employers, because this also frustrates the host employers, as well. So we want to work with to improve this and make sure that we strengthen our program delivery. As I close, our sector will only be built through partnerships, through collaborations, and we cannot do it all by ourselves. And I believe that together we can take FASSET sector and the South African skills development landscape to another level. I just want to thank you, and then I'll hand over to you, Program Director. I know you're not keeping me honest with time. Thank you.
I never want to stop the CEO, because I know that every word she speaks is a word with intention, and she means every single bit of it. So I always want her to really let everything go. Okay. So without wasting any time, I'm going to welcome on stage Mr. Khulekani Khoza. He will then unravel the programs under each of the various levels, and also showcase how you can actually continue to partner with FASSET, where some of the gaps are, and also possibly where the future could lead us. Mr. Khoza.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Program Director. I think it's afternoon, it's no longer the morning. Afternoon, colleagues. Greetings, the kingdom greetings to the CEO and all the LC members, leadership lab at FASSET. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll try to not to be too fast and not too slow when we look at our programs. As the CEO was talking about the NSDP 2030, this is the 5-year strategic plan, which has 4 programs. Internally, we have program 1 that deals with the clean audit, as you're saying that she's waiting for a 5 so that it can sound nicer. We have program 2, which has the skills planning and research. And then we have program 3. This is the bulk of the work that we are doing myself, Mamaroti and Godfrey, program managers. And then we have the last one also, which is under my wing, which is the quality assurance, where we really need SMMEs and SDPs and also the accredited partners to assist us on program 4. I will be just showing the entire programs, all of them, and I know that maybe I may not go into details per each, but there are certain areas that the CEO has raised. This is like 43 of them, of which we did have in the previous financial years, but there are certain elements that she has raised that the target in all the programs, the targeted areas, we have percentages per each or categories. The Black African, we are looking at around 85%. Women, you heard the CEO, because the CEO is a lady. She wants the women to be the majority, which is the 54%. And people with disability, we still haven't find ourselves in the foot when it comes to people with disability. The 4%, and then the youth, usually the 80%. So this is the programs that we have there. I think she has mentioned the lifelong learning. We have unions. I'm not sure that Mr. Msiza is here, which is in KZN. He's the one that is assisting us with more than 5 trade unions in South Africa. We are able to meet that target. We also have the LEG for the firms, auditing firms and accounting firms, and we are still pleading for this one because we do need the training, cyber trainings, cyber training, cyber, all of them. We do need different intervention. We usually have more majority that comes under cyber, but we want to spread to have all the trainings under the LEG. The bursaries, the internship, the tools of trade, this is usually applies in a bursary, an internship, and then also digital skills in some cases. And then we also have the cooperatives. The number for this one is around 2,500, but in most cases, we don't seem to have the spread around the country. As the CEO was talking, that in some areas we want to see the visibility of the participant even in the villages, rural development areas. We do want to see them because majority of the cooperatives, they are based in those areas as well. So we do want to see more participation in a spread and length of the country. And then the other slide then speaks of the NPOs and NGOs. Here we have a target of 20, but we seem to have majority of them still coming in Johannesburg. And that is not what we want. We do want to see all the NPOs and NGOs coming across the country. And then also we have the historical debts, those students that are owing universities. We have a lot of them, but for some odd reason, you'll find that one institution in one province will master the system and will have the majority of the students coming from one institution. Can we have a spread across in the historical debt? We know that maybe the target or the money that we have kept there is not that enough because some of the universities are very expensive, but we do want to see the spread. All the institutions, public institutions having the students that are owning a university, we want to see them applying for that. And we have another one, which is small businesses. Here we target all the companies that are applying for WSP and ATR. As the CEO was saying, that we want to see more companies, small, medium, and large, applying for WSP. So that in the small companies, we do give them some portion of the money so that they are able to implement programs around that. Last time the target was around 700 and we couldn't meet it. We had to take down the target to 350 because we were not getting companies, small companies. Yet, if you're looking at the sector, the majority of the companies that are existing under finance and accounting are the small firms and audit firms. All of them, they are not compliant in terms of work skills plan and ATR. So we want to see more increase in that. And then also the partnership, the CEO has mentioned a lot of partnership that we have, TVET colleges and public institution, which is 26 universities, I think 25 because the other one is a health university, and then the CETs as well. We really want to see those programs from the TVET into a CET area expanding. There is another program that the CEO was mentioning, the Maths, English, and STEAM projects or subjects that we actually enrolled. PM Matibe has been very instrumental on this one because we wanted to have all the provinces participating. There was a lot of challenges because of issues around the Department of Education wanting the program to be enrolled in the provincial level. Some, they were pushing it to be a district level. I remember in Eastern Cape, they wanted to push it to be a district level because they see the need for it. So we still want those schools. One example the CEO was making in Limpopo, we have targeted the schools that have never achieved well, and we still want to expand in the schools area as well so that we can assist our kids in English, accounting, and STEM subject. The internship one, has been one of the programs that we have tried to actually touch all the breadth of the country. We have tried. Mr. Mkuni is trying to cover all the entire northern side of KZN, but we still don't have southern side of the province. We still haven't touched Abo Bizana, Potchefstroom, Ixopo, Umzimkhulu, Kokstad, all the entire area. The inland, maybe I can mention only the colleges, Mkungundlovu, Umnambiti, and Majuba. But when you look at the providers, we still don't have people that are pushing internship program in a partnership with the public sector, because that is the areas that we want to see the improvement in that. Also, rural development. Of course, only the internship, I would say, that has managed to do that successfully, because we were able even to implement some of the project within Lunkulu. We were able to go to Shabisa, Hluhluwe, all the far north side. But we don't have other rural areas. So we should be able to cover all the 9 districts in KZN, 11 districts in KZN. So we have 11 districts in KZN. So we haven't touched, I think in Nkulu we have covered the north side only, but the central one and the south, we're still missing a gap when we look at the rural development. So we still want to see that. Digital skills. Here, as the CEO was saying, that we have a disruption of the AI in all the sectors. And also here we want to see, because in all the TVET colleges in South Africa, we were able to give the smart centers, ICT hubs. And we should be utilizing those hubs to actually run some of the digital skills. But still we haven't seen that collaboration between the private sector and the TVET colleges implementing the digital skills. Also, the employed bursaries. I know that the numbers here, PM Matibe was crying that she's receiving a lot of companies that have people that are employed that are saying that this target is very small, 100 is nothing, because we have people that they want a bursary even though they are working, but they are still crying about it. We still have an employed learners entering a bursary program. So we still want to see that kind of an impact around that. In one of the questions I saw in our spreadsheet, I think it was coming from, because I went through the areas of interest. One of the new programs that we have, I saw that Mkungundlovu, deputy principal, and Karishna were talking about the number of TVET lecturers being exposed in an industry, something that they've been crying about, and they are pleading with us. Luckily, we do have that target now as a new program that we are going to add this financial year. We want to see our lecturers going into our firms, going into the industry, where they will be able now to teach what they've been exposed to. We do understand that they do have qualifications, but the exposure is more relevant. That will assist them to actually deliver what is needed in class. And then also we have a percentage of a discretionary grant budgeted allocated to in developing elementary skills. This one I did mention that we did try with 3.21, where we're exposing the small firms or small companies to actually benefit. We also have professional body. We also have the unemployed learners completing the internship. What is also frustrating is that majority of our targets, they do have an enter, continuing, and completion. But in most cases, we find that the completion side, we are struggling. You find that we have allocated 10 learners, but at the end of the program, we find that we are no longer finding those 10 learners to report them as a completion. We want to plead with the industry and the companies that are hosting these learners that if we enter a person, we want to see the progress until some of the companies, they are able to even to write to us so that we're able to actually take some of the learners to be permanent. I think SASSA was able to give us those numbers after they've completed their internship. We still want to see the progress of the learners until the final stage. So we are pleading with that. And also the WIL program, we want to partner with the companies as well. The WIL program, majority of the time, is done by the University of Technology. The learners now, and they need to complete a certain months so that that WIL certificate, after they've been exposed, then can be submitted into an institution. Then they are recorded as completed in their qualification and they are able to graduate. But still, we still have a challenge where you find that the placement are not aligned into the qualifications of the student. Can we plead with the companies? Assist us. They have a logbooks that have been given to them. Please look at those logbooks so that they are able to get the exposure they are looking for and they are able to graduate and then finish off those qualifications. So those are the programs that we have. Let me just maybe move into skills gap and strategies. Here we were looking at the softer skills that are missing in the sector, looking at the leadership, time management, emotional intelligence, problem solving. We want to see this kind of soft skills being implemented whenever you are having a program. It's either an internship or WIL, any program. In the manager side, also it identifies the areas where the soft skills are needed, gaps that have been identified. Also in the professional space, also looking at the graduate and interns, because majority of our programs, you'll find that they fall under that category of graduate workers, trainees, and interns. So in that area, we need more focus into it so that we are able to produce people that are equipped, well equipped for the industry and for the future as well. And then also the trade workers and elementary occupations. Top 10 sector priority occupations and intervention. Here there's just a slightly changes because we did have a tax professionals, we did have financial accountant, we did have finance manager, but there's a new one that has been between ourselves, which is FASSET, bank SETA, and insurance SETA, which is a compliance officer. Even that as well, we are still debating with the qualification who should be a custodian of this qualification, compliance officer. So that now becomes the sectoral priority occupation in the financial year. We also have the financial analyst as well, looking at the financial investment advisor or consultant as well. So that is emerging around this financial year. We did have a management accountant, we did have ICT and a software developer, but we didn't have learning and development manager. And I will explain why. Because now we are getting rid of the legacy qualification. We have a new emerging occupation, which is learning and development. There, we need somebody that is going to run the training and development and skills development back to back, looking at the qualifications, accreditation, quality assurance until the end of a programs. So professional bodies, they are looking for people who are going to assist there in leadership, short course programs, looking at the entire human resource management as well. So this is one of the emerging top 10 scarce skills. So emerging occupation, I think the CEO has touched this one as well. We will no longer have the traditional accountant or auditors. Some of the disrupting AI occupations are emerging around the area. There is an AI specialist, there is a cloud architect, there is a sustainability manager, ESG, a fintech specialist, digital marketing. We are no longer going to have just a marketing specialist. You are going to have a digital marketing one, and then data analyst and ICT security specialist as well. The approach in our programs this year, we are having models that we are having as finance and accounting SETA. The first one is a district development model. We still want to plead. We want to see the visibility in all the districts so that we are able to have an access skills opportunities in rural areas. Also align the skills development intervention in the district socio-economic priorities. Also strengthen the coordination and collaboration in the district level. We want to see all districts, even if they are in town, even if they are in rural areas, we want to see them participating in our programs as well. The second one is the partnership and collaboration. We did have a vast partnership around the province, but we want to expand even more so that we are having more hosting companies. We are having more companies submitting. This is my area. I will pause on this one. We don't have many companies, even though KZN is in the top 3 of companies that are paying levies at FASSET. But we have minimal companies that are participating on the work skills plan. Can we see those submissions? Can we see those NLPs? Even if you are not qualifying to pay the levies, but you can participate as an NLP because the threshold of your salary scale doesn't exceed 500,000. Do register as a non-levy payer because you don't meet that threshold. We have a lot, even if I can share you the list, because I do have a list of companies that are paying levies. Even if you are an SDP or a provider that is assisting companies to submit, scout them. Because some of you are working as a private sector, scout those companies that are under finance and accounting, assist them so that you are able to do businesses with more companies. Because in other sectors, that's what they are doing. We are also leading under finance and accounting sector as well. Scout those companies. All auditing firms, accounting firms, many of them. Usibusi, she assisted us to get one of the big companies in KZN. They've not been submitting. They've been using a wrong SETA. And we were able to see, oh, they are paying now. Itala is paying. And it's 2%. So we are happy because Usibusi was there. And she was able to say that, hey, you are not under this sector. You are actually under finance and accounting sector. Can you pay your levies directly into FASSET? So we want to see that. We have a lot of agencies, but some of them we cannot not do it on our own. We need your assistance in that. The collaboration is very important in terms of the career guidance. I know that TVET colleges, they will usually have career days or opening days. Do invite us. You saw Utola and the entire team. They will be there so that we can have more programs, through the learners that will be exposed in those career expos. Also, the subject matter expert. We are developing new qualifications. The old ones are coming to an end next month, which is June 2026. There will be more extension or nothing. So we need people that have experts in subject. We need people that are going to assist us in assessment, moderation, and quality assurance. Register with QCTO so that you can assist us in creating the ASA exam, External Integrated Summative Assessment. We need you. Also, the institutions that are here, public institution, we want to register you as our centers, ASA centers, so that the exams can be written in your institution as well. We're also looking at the partnership with the higher learning institution so that we align the programs, qualification, what the industry needs. If your voice is not heard, we will not be able to meet you where you need us to be. So we need you to participate in that as well. Also, whenever we are doing the SSP, we need you to be part of that process as well, so that we are able to use the informed SSP. Sometimes we implement programs, we find that we see the industry seems like not interested because you were not part of the entire process when we were doing that sector skills plan in the beginning. So we need to give us those emerging skills that you need for the industry. So that is very important. And also you becoming the implementing agencies for us. As a stakeholder, we should be able to find those implementing partners from this gathering, of course. And then also their strategic implementation focus. I think the CEO has mentioned the JET, which is just energy transition skills, the ESG for sustainability skills, green economy development, also the gender-based violence initiatives. We did try to reach out to higher health, but also we want the sector, the entire sector, to actually propose some of the initiatives that we can be able to fund as a CETA as well. Entrepreneurship skills, we still see minimal of the small businesses there, but we still need more of the interventions around entrepreneurship, and then also digital transformation. There's a process when the companies are applying. This one is very important because I know that is where we fight in most cases. That is where we lose each other. That is where you will send nasty emails that you guys are discriminating us and all that. So this is a process. We have a first committee, which is the grant evaluation committee. And then we have Mr. July, which is an M&E manager, doing a due diligence. Because we need to see that if you are applying for 10 learners, where are you going to put those learners? So Mr. July then comes in that to just look at the capacity of the organization. And then we have another committee, which is the grant adjudication committee, that will look at the recommendation that comes with Mr. July, which is the M&E, and then it can be submitted into the CEO. Let me explain. It seems simple if you see it like this, but in the proper, submitted documentation, we need to see everything that we have requested. Everything. There is a checklist in each and every application. If we advertise for a TVET, Mr. Mikoch, for a site, I need to see everything that we are going to place the learners, Enyenyezi, Mzimkulu, Kokstad. You should give me that vest in an application form so that I don't struggle. I can see everything that these TVET will have, supervisors and everything, according to the advert. But the problem with the application that we are receiving, some of them, then they are incomplete. You receive an application form, you know the institution. You know the institution that actually they do have a capacity, but in the documents, they've never explained. They've just submitted. They sign and then they give it to us. And then they said, no, they know us. Ukulegani knows us. He was working with us. So Paul will use that in my face. That, no, I've worked with Ukulegani. He knows us. I did TVET college. But the fact of the matter is that I've received 3,000 for internship alone. Sometimes we receive even more than that. So it is very important that look at the guidelines. Currently, I think the TVET lecturers bursary is out. So I urge all the TVET colleges that are here to apply. Go to our website and then apply. Look at what we are looking for. The criteria is very important so that you are able to see through your application being approved. So this is very important. The windows, as I've said, that some of the windows are open. We are planning to open now, which is May, until August 2026. We may not be able to send individual emails, but do check our website. That is where we are putting all the adverts of the windows that are open. So please look out for that one. Let me just touch this one because also it is very close into my heart.
I'm still pleading on this one. All the old qualification, bookkeeper for TVET colleges, that one is out. We have a new bookkeeper now, occupational bookkeeper. So we need the participation in the new qualifications so that you can see what is emerging. We are no longer having those old legacy qualifications. So we have already started that exercise, and all of them, as I've said, that they're expiring next month. The accreditation and assessor and moderator, we are still doing that through QCTO until we are done with the entire exercise of occupational qualification. So the last date of enrollment was last year, not now. It was last year. So you are no longer going to enter a new person in an old qualification. If it is not renewed by QCTO or quality partner, which are the seaters, do not enter the student. You rather check first before you enter or enroll the student there. Also, the process is still ongoing. If you are interested, we will want to see some of you participating in those new development of qualification. Let's see you there being part of those a new alignment and re-registration of the qualification. We have a scarce people there. This is a new qualification that we have already have, but they are not all of them here. I think here I have about 11, but in total in the pipeline I have about 37 in my Excel spreadsheet, but they are in different forms. Some are still with QCTO, some are with SAQA, some are just waiting for the final approval, but this is some of them. I know that maybe the TVET one, which is not here, is a bookkeeper because we're still wanting to meet with the TVET colleges to outline some of the areas that are still missing. I think we have only the NQF4 poll, which is number 2, National Occupational Certificate in Bookkeeper, which is NQF4. I think currently the TVET colleges are using that one, but we still need to then create examine it. But this is all the qualifications that are in the pipeline. Some they've been registered with SAQA. Also, the process of submitting currently, we are submitting directly to QCTO. On our side, we are just doing the QCTO desktop evaluations, and then we do the site visit of all the qualifications, and then we submit the recommendation that we feel that the college or the institution does qualify or not, and then they will then give us a reject or approval of those applications. So we do have that cycle, but if you need any information, do contact us. We will assist from A to Z until the registration is done or accreditation is completed. Also, I've said that we have more than what I've just shown you. We have like 15 qualifications that are already under review currently. And then also we have about 4 skills programs that are also under review. So we are pushing them so that we are expecting maybe a new announcement next week, Monday, but we are not sure what is the minister is going to say, because we are supposed to be done with all the qualifications and everything. But this one is still under review. I think I will end here for now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Mr. Koza is quite tall, eh? Thank you so much, Mr. Koza. So that, I think, probably gave you quite a lot to see how you can link your organization to FASSET, how you can link yourself to the national priorities, and how you can assist in ensuring that when we usher ourselves to 2030, the CETAs have a different story to paint, your organization has a different story to paint, and that we all in the room can say that we contributed to a much better forecast for the future of skills development in South Africa. So I'm hoping that the Q&A session will be quite a rigorous and very passionate one, so that we can close any gaps that there might be and ensure that we are all aligned by the time we open those windows. So without wasting any further time, I'd like to invite Mr. Marabongwe Siziba, who will then highlight further in terms of plans that relate to digital in our organization, what systems we have in place, and where you guys can plug in. Thank you.
Right.
Good afternoon. Are you still here? Are you still with us? All right. Let's touch on another subject now. It was started a little bit, but I think we want to unpack a little things that are more pertinent to the sector itself. I think the truth is every sector is evolving. We cannot deny that. And our sector as well is definitely evolving. And what it means then is that our approach can't be business as usual. We can't do traditional approach. And I know Mr. Koza spoke about occupations, and I'm worried because sometimes by the time they get approved, they're already overtaken by what's happening in technology and so on. But of course, we'll see how these occupations then they get companions in terms of what AI and machine learning does in the finance and accounting services sector. As you can see in the screen here, there's a screen that spoke about emerging technologies, and I want to tie those skills that you identify there and what is happening in the sector so that you can find the match. I want to take bookkeeping as an example because that's what was spoken about. Bookkeeping as traditionally as we know it, and then AI and machine learning says there's a better way of keeping a bookkeeper, but providing a companion so that all these repetitive tasks, you know, your processing, data entry and all that, then they are done by a companion or by an AI tool. I know there's a tool called QuickBooks already. I mean, European countries, they already use these tools, and it's something that we can use as well because they are available on the market. So what we require now, it's skills that we impart to our bookkeepers so that they are more, you know, they are more savvy to enhance the manner in which they do their current jobs. Because one of the studies by Harvard Review Business, they said AI is not here to replace humans, and it's a fact. AI is not here to replace humans, but they say AI is going to replace humans without, humans with AI will replace humans without AI, and it's correct. So the war is not about technology, it's skills that are imparted into those that deliver those tasks. That's one example around the issues of bookkeeping. But if you look again in terms of predictive analysis and also forecasting, I remember we looked at your expectations. For example, Infinite Life, they ask about AI and automation in debt counseling and debt recovery. That's exactly the functionality of AI then. AI already does have a functionality to do predictive analysis. But remember, AI means you've got data sources that you can trust, you get data sources that you can prompt, or you have algorithms that you can work with so that it provides you insights. But debt recovery as well, does form part of what AI provides on forecasting and predictive analysis. And there are tools as well that are available for that. I know Microsoft Azure is one of the good tools that do your financial data analysis and then can give you what you require there. That's what already is happening in the finance and accounting services sector. What it means then, we want skills that will be then enhance those who are providing those tasks. We are not replacing them, but we want to then give them appropriate skills so that they can compete with the economy. Another example I can use, personalized client experience. You may have seen in other big corporates already they are using that. You log on to a profile somewhere, you are greeted with your name, and everybody knows everything you do. That's they call it, I forgot the terminology, but it's a customized user experience. So if you get to a banking app and your behavior in that app is known somewhere, and there's AI that's generating that, looking at what you do, what you buy, and so on. And you'll be surprised sometimes you're getting things that are pushed to you, but you never ask anyone. But these things that are pushed to you, it's your behavior. So the prediction and everything that is done in terms of user experience, customized user experience, those are skills that we require within the sector as well. And what it does sometimes, even in the finance sector, when we talk about financial advice, I mean, you normally get people, you go to a company, you get some sit with someone and tells you about your finances and all that. AI does that already. Because I say to you, the data is available already. So the engine is owned by a certain firm that you're banking with. Then they can do analytics. They run them in the background, and then it gives you options in terms of how the advice, in terms of financial advice that you require and so on. And sometimes it does give reporting at any given time. So it means even financial advisors now, their task is being automated. Even the ones that are still physical now, they're getting skills so that they provide a proactive information that is required by clients instead of picking up a call, making appointments, and going to this company because there's no time to do so. So that's how the industry is changing. That's how the skills are required more and more and more. And we call them companions. It's a human, it's AI. The two together, they make a person that is able to compete with what's happening in the economy. Maybe lastly, I can speak about balancing human expertise with AI. So the problem with AI, I remember this other professor was saying, if you want to know something that is not smart, it is AI. And it's true. AI is not smart. And I always ask a question to say, then who designed AI? Because AI doesn't, we don't wake up and then there's AI, right? There's a human behind all these algorithms. There's a human that comes with those, but the intelligence that is built to AI, then it provides, the ease of using this data and all those kind of issues and so on. Now, it's the same with the output that we get from AI as well. Then we are trained, we do all this predictive analysis and automation and all that, but remember, the output that AI gives is the output of the machine. What does it do? It needs a human in the loop. That's why he says there, balancing human expertise with AI, because we can't rely on what AI produces and trust that it's accurate information, because it can hallucinate, can give you biased information, it can do a lot of things, but it's not human. That's why we require human then to review the output that we produce, and then that's how it works. So it's human in the loop, whichever way we do it. That is why we're still talking skills development even today when there's AI, because we want to impart those skills to humans so that they make their life easier in terms of how they interact with AI and ML. I won't repeat the emerging occupations, but this slide, what it does then, it shows the relevance of these emerging occupations within the sector and what we intend to do there. So what are we doing as FASSET to respond internally? It's one thing to talk about skills that the economy requires and us, encouraging you to assist us in providing those skills, but how are we responding as the organization in doing so? Part of our vision, we've improved it to reflect as the power to harness the power of digital technologies. One, we want to innovate to scale and lead in the achievement of the world-class finance and accounting skills. That's what we're here for. We are here to provide skills and also to achieve world-class finance and accounting skills. But we use the word scale deliberately so, because the improvement and adopting of these emerging technologies is not an overnight task. South Africa, Africa is a continent. We are very slow adopters when it comes to, we wait. We are very conservative for obvious reasons. Skills, infrastructure, many things that are involved there. So we wait and look at Europe and they do whatever they do, then slowly. We don't even have a policy in the country. We're trying to get there. Already generative AI is getting out of the way. There's agentic AI now. So things are moving, but we are getting into the space. That's why we need to scale. Slow pace, but we have a vision in terms of what we are trying to achieve. So that's what we are doing. One of the things that are critical for FASSET now, that is part of our trajectory, we started already with a pilot, is the adoption of integrated learner management system. Large employers would understand. Kulagani, in the department, we always fight around WSPATR period for large employers. It was the application that we are using. We've had it for some time. So it does give troubles when it comes to large uploads. And then our stakeholders, they get frustrated and all that. So we had to look at something that is very robust, also AI ready, so that we can mine some data and get insight in terms of what we do. So we've adopted an integrated learner management system, which is it's a SITA-owned application, MySITA, which is a SITA tasked to lead in technology. So we are partnering with them. In fact, all SITAs, it's an integration around all SITAs so that we can get the insights on skills development across the sector, not only FASSET, and see what's happening in other SITAs and all that. So we've piloted with large employers in this window that closed 30th of April. But of course, come 27, 28, we are doing a full rollout of that application. And then when Mr. Koza was talking, he did request that you submit those applications. Technology challenges, it's out of the way now. Because with the integrated ILMS, we shouldn't have challenges, because that has been thoroughly tested by those who understand the theory around this skills development system. So we are also encouraging you to have a look at that. So what we do when we roll out this application, every week when the window opens, we do capacity building. Every Friday, every week. So there's really no excuse around that one. So we will be there. We will be supporting you along the way. But it's an easy to use application. I mean, we've seen it, we've tested it, we worked with it, large employers have used it, and there are no queries around how it looks like. And we did it with some of the players in the sector. Oh, that's ILMS I'm talking about. That's a look and feel of the ILMS and why we did it, just to show you. So it's existing. We do have an instance for FASSET. We've piloted it, as I said, but now we will then roll out in a full scale. Why we did it, we wanted to improve the performance of the system. I spoke about the current one, better submission experience, and also errors and duplication that sometimes they can happen, and also stronger future readiness. When we say AI and scaling, we're also moving that direction so that we can build those insights. And then lastly, you would remember 2024 AGM, we then launched our FASSET Atang app, legacy app, and we do encourage you to use this app. It's a very, very useful app. It does provide learners and also employers and training providers with the information that is required to streamline the path on skills development, and also career opportunities that learners and other beneficiaries have. That information is at a fingertip because the app is on the Play Store or Apple Store. You can find it. Now, sitting here, if you don't have it, you can install it. You will see how it works. So please make use of that. It's called FASSET Atang app. Just say FASSET. There's only one FASSET that appears on board because I've seen. See, they ask, what does Atang mean? You want to respond?
Atang means it's a Sotho version of increase of Ayanda, actually.
Yes. So we came with something more different. That's why a gateway to a multiplying legacy. So it's a multiplication. Atang, yes. So, but it's Sotho, yes. So that's the app, colleagues. And then I think, yeah, make use of the app. You'll see. And what you want to do now as a part of the future plans, right? Now that we have an app as an engine. So even the ILMS I'm talking about, as you submit your WSP ATR, we want to link it the front end to the app so that you can track whatever that you submit on the app. Back engine, because it's AI ready, we can push it to the app and we link the two. Then you've got one version of truth. Then you can track whatever you do. DG as well. We want to do the same because we are piloting a DG process. We never had an electronic DG process. It will be the first time now because we are testing it. So we want to move that direction, but we want to be available here as quick as possible. Right? I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you so much, CIO, for that one. So please do engage with the Atang app. Please recommend it to learners that you come across because that's where we will connect the opportunities for them. Also, the ILMS system is definitely going to be a game changer for WSP submitters, etc. So definitely we are moving towards the right direction. So now we are going to head over to the section that I think will probably create a lot of heat in the room. And for those who are definitely cold, will definitely change the temperature. So it's time for the Q&A session. So if I can have my assistants there at the back to help me with the mics. So how we will facilitate this session is if you raise your hand, we will then acknowledge you and then you can ask your question. So just by a show of hands in the room, can we see where the questions are going to come from? Or any recommendations that you would like to share, any challenges that you would like to bring forward? Okay, I've got one there at the back, 2 over here, 3 over here, 4 over there. Okay, so we'll start with number 1 on this side, which is the gentleman right at the back. And then FASSET representatives, you will have to come on stage, but there's also a mic available there. So whichever option is suitable. Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Greetings to everyone, especially to the CEO as well as the leadership of FASSET. My name is Mtembeni Mteto. I'm from the Office of the Premier, attached to the Academy. Firstly, we appreciate this engagement and also to be invited. We have been engaging with other sitters and they have been inviting the Office of the Premier because it represents government departments, public entities, as well as municipalities. The part of the progress, the memorandum of agreement is being processed that we're partnering with the FASSET, but just few issues that one would love to touch base on. Thank you for the strides you make on the occupational qualifications. But one interest that government is having is that does the curriculum includes entrepreneurship? Because if it doesn't, it means we produce people who will seek employment whilst unemployment is very high. So the stimulation of business mindset wouldn't be there. Or if it has to happen, it has to happen post completion of qualification, which does not help a lot, instead of it being infused as part of the modules that are being undertaken to promote job creators, especially whilst the country is facing huge unemployment. And foreigners are seeing opportunities that we in the country don't see, because in the mindset is not there that even if you were to ask someone, he will tell you that after graduation, will seek employment. Very few will say, I will start a business. So there's something not very right with our curriculum that I think the sitter with the occupational qualifications needs to turn around on that particular area. We have seen skills that were regarded as scarce, where people are staging a sit-in in front of the Office of the Premier. Doctors staging a sit-in, demanding employment. You ask yourself, why are they not opening private practice and run medical centers? Why they go to government to do so? Because the Health Professions Council will allow them to register as private practice. And in this particular sitter, you can successfully run your business as a bookkeeper. You can run a small business as a subcontract, and AG always subcontract individuals who run their businesses to do auditing in municipalities. You'll hardly find an AG employee. You will find subcontracted people by AG, but actually who are running their own businesses. So if that is not there, it means there's a gap. But also maybe the sitter in offering bursaries can entice that, so that it pushes the academia that are doing mainstream qualifications to say include entrepreneurial or business studies from the year one, becoming like a major subject, like you would do when you do HR, you do business management, right through is a major subject. So when you want to be an HR manager, you can do so if you like, but already you've been skilled to actually run a business because you know the pros and cons of running a business. The second one, we do offer our academy for AISA as an assessment center. We've just been accredited by QCTO and PSITA. We've run first exam on Monday and it was very successful. But in partnership, we can also explore that, especially for public administration. The second one, the government is professionalizing the public service. That implies that every person working for government must belong to a professional body. Belonging to a professional body, you need some sort of education, maybe a 120 credit certificate or 240 credits or 360 credits, so that you will be aligned according to the levels of professional registration. We will then rely more on FASSET to also assist those who are attached to finance and accounting. Some of them are having public management, because public management is like Ngazonke, you features everywhere. HR, admin, finance will find them because there's a little bit of modules that will be attached to it, which make a person can be employed anyway. But the finance guys wouldn't be much more keen to have such people without a mainstream qualification. So in professionalizing the public service, perhaps for those who are not in management or not professional yet, where the OQ, maybe they will assist in so that they can get registered. We have engaged some of the professional bodies, but where professional bodies are not creating a platform for professional registration, there is SAPAM, because SAPAM is for public administration, can accommodate anyone as long as you work in the public administration. So it's one area that in the sector needs to also be looked at. And as KZN, we want to be the first to lead the way in acquiring everyone to register. Already managers have been compelled to belong to professional bodies. Lastly, the work-based learning framework has been developed in the province. I've seen Dr. Zungu around, who's one of the pioneers of that, so that the concern raised earlier by the CEO and Mr. Khoza of industry not opening doors. An assessment was conducted. Why would industry not do so? Primarily COIDA issues are the main reason. And there's no platform that is there to cover the policy gaps. So this framework has got templates such as indemnity forms that could be signed, and also the confidentiality clauses that people have to sign, because there could be secrecy within the firms that people only love external people. But lastly, the template on the agreement that could be signed. Remember, not all firms will have a fully fledged legal services. Now, to make it easy, where you can just sign on a standard. So we hope that will entice the industry to open the doors to have more and more learners to have a work-based learning framework practice, especially the skills mismatch that industry is complaining about. When we've done the curriculum, it's assessment, you find that it's the, especially universities, traditional universities, a person will start until completes before even having a practical exposure in service training. So except for universities of technology as well as TVET colleges who would require that before graduation. So hopefully this will close the mismatch that is also noted. Thank you so much for rural development and DDM approach. That's a way to go, especially in our province. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mtetwa. It was a very long-winded question. So I don't know if we want to deal with that first before we move on to the other questions, so that we don't lose track of responding to the comments and maybe some of the inquiries made.
I think I'll respond.
Yes, the mic.
I'll respond to Mr. Mtetwa, because he's suggesting something which is very critical. The first one, speaking of the curriculum, including entrepreneurship. I think, Babu Mtetwa, can I request, because you are already running an academy, the biggest one in the province, and having more beneficiaries under public sector, to say that I think you are using services SETA or PSETA in the new development that you are going to do. Maybe in that forum, in the provincial forum, can we add that so that we can all, because the SETAs are part of that forum, then we can add that in the curriculum. Because on our side, majority of the qualifications that we are having, as I've shown, it's tax practitioners, bookkeepers, but if it is coming from the public sector as the forum, as the province, then it might fly even easier. The ASA Center, after this, I think we need to finish the partnership there. We are not having the centers in the province, so we're thinking of giving all the 9 TVET colleges the accreditation through QCTO. So I think you can assist us in that, so that some of the exams that have been postponed, maybe we can have some of those exams sitting soon. I think on this one as well, on the professional body, this one, the element that we are creating now, because it was there, but under FASSET, we didn't have skills program and unit standard. We are now creating, as I've shown my screen, there was 4 skills program. So the RPL
can assist us, Babumtetwa, in professionalizing the public sector itself. But also, I think that one will be led by UPCITA, and then try to have the RPLs so that we can cover that. I think all provincial treasury, they are applying for the SAICA trainees. I think that side we are covered, but the other side, I think we can use the RPL side. The WBL framework, yes, it does give the leeway of the agreement, and then also to assist in opening the doors. But I think our element was coming from an area that doesn't cover accounting, finance and accounting space, because the other areas, they are taking those intent to be hosted. But under finance and accounting, you find that the CFOs, finance managers, they usually don't have majority of spaces around those departments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Koza. I know that my next question was right over there.
A very good afternoon, colleagues. Special greetings to the management of FASSET and CEO. Well, my name is Mlungis Hatebe from Nkumbulo TVET College. Well, I think this is not a question, but it's a comment. CEO, I wanted to appreciate the level of professionalism we are that shows by your KZN team. They are serving us very well. Then another thing is that we really appreciate the consideration of our request that was made by our deputy principal, services and support, Mr. Zondo, of lecturer training. I think that one is very much, it is paramount important, because as we are moving from legacy to new qualifications of QCTO. Then lastly is a request that Mr. Zondo reminded me this morning before I come here to say, look, can we request that bursaries shouldn't be restricted to lecturers, but can you also open doors for admin staff? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And I truly believe that those recommendations and the comments are taken to heart. And I know that Xola's performance appraisal is about to go differently after that comment. So I do believe that the gentleman in the gray was the third, and then we do have number 4 over here, and then we'll go to the sir at the back.
Thanks, colleagues, and good afternoon. My name is Fred. I just wanted to suggest something. CEO, you realize that in the public sector and the commissions that are around, we have got a challenge with the supply chain management. It's my request, if possible, that the supply chain management can be offered as one of the skills. Because for now, we can look in terms of the accounting part and all those things, but those are the people that are taking a lot of spending is done through them. Then I believe that if there can be a qualification related to that or skills development, so that we can be able to eliminate a lot of challenges that we are facing, especially in the public sector, where people each and every time they are on commissions and then they indicate in terms of fraud and other things, then I think that can be able to assist. Thank you.
Thank you. CEO, do you want to respond?
Thank you so much. I will start with
Ubaba wasemgungundlovu TVET College. It was mostly comments and appreciation, and there's a request that we extend, the bursary offering to not only, the lecturers but also to the admin staff. At this stage, we will. Relook at that. We will look into that. Probably we might not implement it. Actually, we're not going to implement it for 26-27 financial year because the DG criteria and the priorities have been approved already by the board. But as we go to the planning phase, as we start the planning phase around about June, July, we will then take that request forward. Obviously, most of what we need to do is also informed by the budget as well as the research that we have. But thank you so much. That is noted. The question and actually it's a question, but mostly for me, I take it as a recommendation by, is it Frank? Frank, okay, so on the looking into the qualifications or the skills program around supply chain management. And I think that a craft well also with one of the priorities that, building a capable and developmental stage. We've seen, that the clean administration is compromised mainly around, supply chain, challenges. So in a nutshell, we don't have a program as yet that is, or even, that is addressing that, but we will look into that as we also work with, we are getting to an MOU with DPSA, and I think Public Commission Service, Public PSC. Prof. Somadoda Figeni as a chair has invited Public Service Commission, yes, has invited us then to partner with them, as they look into professionalizing the sector. So those probably will be, things that we'll take with us as we'll engage. But thank you for that recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good morning, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Ms. Mafuleka. My name is Sibu Ngaba. I'm from the Durban University of Technology. I'm a lecturer there and I'm a well coordinator. Firstly, I would like to also acknowledge Kola and his team. Thank you so much for your support, guys. We really, really appreciate you. And secondly, I would like to acknowledge my university as well for being the first university to have the World Program for a year. Other universities have it for 3 months or 2 weeks or whatever, 3 days, but ours is a year, and we are in the process of accrediting work integrated learning. So I was very interested in also, we have 250 learners who are hosted by 20 host employers, with our biggest host employer, eThekwini Municipality. So thank you very much for that. I was very interested in Atang. So if you can offer me tools of work, I can make sure that by next week, all these learners will be using Atang. But I need that iPhone to teach them. So also one thing I wanted to mention is that DUT is also going to be a school of entrepreneurship, Babu Kulegani. So maybe we can speak about that as well in terms of collaborations. Also with the ASA, I think that would be easy for us. My question or comment was small business. So now I've moved from DUT, now I am in SDF. You spoke about how small businesses are not, submitting their WSPs, ATR. So we are SDFs, we are available. Put on that adverts, look for us in case it's in, we can certainly close that gap. It's not something that can come back here next year. If I could do it for food bev, I don't even know, now I can tell you about meat and whatever, but I'm not a food bev specialist. SDFs are generalists, so we can do any WSP for any sitter. You just need to make sure that you look for us, you don't make it to be tricky, less is more, don't put now 11 requirements when you want us to do just this WSP. Other cities are just requesting be an SDF, because that's all that's required. But then others, they're putting 15 things, and then they don't get their WSPs done. Thank you so much, colleagues.
Thank you so much. Ms. Kawa, also earlier CEO, Singhambaisa manje. Ute, we have to go back to the oyster box. We've never been to the oyster box, so I'm not sure who she's mistaken us for, but I think that was a sign for her to tell us that for the AGM, oyster box. Okay. Okay, we are done here. So I do have another question over there, and then Kola. Oh, yes, sorry, first, sir, if we can please. Yes, thank you.
No, thank you. Being of my height, I'm used to being overlooked.
We're the same height.
On which score, thank you, Program Director. You've done an amazing job. Amazing. Like absolutely amazing. Thank you. And thank you to the organizers. Thank you, CEO. I don't know about Oyster Box. I think this is a lovely venue. I mean, when I walked in, I must confess, one of the first things that caught my eyes was the refreshments. Not that I'm comparing to other SETA events that I've been to, I'm just saying this is beautiful. And the fact that there is 5 years of clean audit is so very reassuring. We're not going to see you on those televised commissions. We've seen enough drama there, so thank you for giving us a well-run institution. We are proud of what you are doing. Just maybe 2 points for me. The first one is you spoke about entrepreneurship. I can assure you that there is not a dearth of entrepreneurial or rather entrepreneurship programs available to support this ambition and this endeavor. But maybe as part of your interest in the value chain, do take an interest in the QCTO and the extent to which they approve some of those accreditation things, because your pipeline, just maybe your pipeline is stuck there. So there is the one thing. The second one that I would have liked to raise as well, it's probably the elephant in the room. At the end of the day, we are all talking about the learner. And to the extent that the learner is, and I want to allow me to take a little bit of time to contextualize this, because I'm not picking on people. There was a study, I think, around the Black Diamond survey around the 2009s, thereabouts. It showed that the younger Black Diamond was only taking an interest in brands that were an enabler of their aspirations. Now, that is big English for saying they think the world revolves around them. And yes, and if you talk to a lot of employers these days, they may not be keen, or their keenness to employ may be proportional to or related to the attitude of the learners that we are meant to take on. And we take on a number of these learners. We love them, we want to support them. They're not always supportable. So I would have proposed that as part of the work readiness, we maybe just amplify our investment in work readiness. We are prepared to support. If it means we must come to those institutions and talk to them about what realistically happens in the workplace. They walk in very conscious of their rights. They walk in, lately what we've noticed is that they are very pro-mobilization. So they'll then have a group and they'll have a spokesperson and they'll write you letters on ChatGPT speaking legalese they've never heard, And you're like, right. You know what I'm saying? So there's an element of work readiness that we need to invest in, mainly as an attitude adjustment. And we're not throwing it out there as a problem. We are saying we're prepared to come in earlier in the process, speak to them while they're still at school, while they're still in the college, while they're still, that's where we need to invest so that by the time they come to the workplace, they're A, employable, 2, deployable. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that one. I think just as a note, FASSET tried last year to do work readiness. Not tried, we actually did do work readiness with the TVET colleges, but a very select number of them. So I think your sharing just now might actually expand that a bit more so that we're able to get into those uncharted grounds and make sure that by the time the learners are actually getting into employment, they are much more prepared mentally, emotionally, and also physically as well. So let's have a chat. Okay, so I think, Ms. Matibe actually wants to respond. Yes.
Yes, at least I'm able to say Sanibonani as a baby girl. Good afternoon. Just in response to the comment that they had made in relation to work readiness, I think it's one of the things that came out strongly around the soft skills that we were highlighting when Mr. Khoza was actually presenting. So what we have done now, in our academic support that we normally provide to the higher learning institutions, we are going to incorporate the soft skills component as well. Over and above that, on the TVET college space, we have never had an academic support, but in the current financial year, we had actually made provision for the academic support to be introduced within the TVET colleges as well, which will then also make provision for those particular soft skills that we are talking about as well. So in terms of our internship program, the work readiness has always been embedded within the program. I think it's more on the extension now, just to ensure that the graduates, when they exceed the higher learning institutions already, they possess those particular skills rather than them having to learn those skills within the work environment. I just wanted to comment on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Matibe. So the work is definitely underway. Sir? There was a gentleman there at the back. Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Sorry, I don't have to stand up because when I stand up, I overpower people, and the work I do, people run away. So the gentleman over there doesn't have to feel I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. Thank you. My name is Len. I'm past president and chair of the board of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners South Africa. I also sit on that board. I want to say thank you to FASSET and Ms. Mafukela today for what she's presented here in KZN. I know she had 3 roadshows around the country. We've had a long-standing relationship with the FASSET. We've even got an MOU with them. We've got MOUs with SIPA and SICA. I'm going to end with a question, but just to make a statement, the gentleman from the Premier's office, I think we've been lacking, not even at post-schooling, but at school level, educating and teaching youngsters how to start a business, how to apply for vehicle finance, how to get short-term insurance on their vehicles, how to get bonds. They walk into traps, and I don't care. I'm not grey, it's either black or white with the banks. You know, the banking industry here, they exploit youngsters when they start business with high interest rates. They don't understand their sign sureties, which we all know shouldn't be done. Current consequences right until the end. For years to come, they suffer. So I think we're failing there. I think what's great is that with FASSET going out to the various colleges, and I'm glad to see DUT here. We have an MOU with them as well. This lady here from UKZN, we have a MOU with UKZN. They're the first student chapters in South Africa with the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. We spoke about fraud and malfeasance and what are we doing there. FASSET has an MOU with us, and we have a lot of workshops and joint collaborations. Our Africa Fraud Conference is at the Sandton ICC in September. We actually sponsor for free DUT and UKZN top students and lecturers, Professor Farina Marimutu, Professor Thijs, Sean and them from UKZN, Prof. Sibanda. So we're encouraging them not just to become accountants, not just become lawyers. I also speak at the law faculties at the various universities, but to think out the box. Get your accreditation as a certified fraud examiner. It's an NQF level qualification currently. It's specializing because cybercrime, cryptocurrency fraud, money laundering is one of the fastest crimes growing around the country. South Africa is the #1 kidnap country in Africa at the moment. Extortion is the highest in business disruption. The construction mafia, I sit on those committees, and we need to encourage accountants to think out the box. And we tease them. We say, you've been counters. Don't take offense. I've got a bulletproof jacket on. But when we tell them to study that. Go take one step further. Study your certified fraud examination, international qualification, head office based in the US, and think out the box. Get involved in assisting government, public and private sector in the malfeasance and the fraud. We've seen what's happened in our country with government, the Malanga Commission, the Zondo Commission, the ad hoc committees. I mean, I had Ian Cameron and Professor Tulio Martincelo on stage with me, Judge Raymond Zondo last year at our conference. It's a current topic. In South Africa, over 70 million population count more, given foreign nationals that we don't have head counts of. We only have 3,100 certified fraud examiners in South Africa. That's a fraction of what is needed. So to become a CFE and to qualify the criteria, you've got to have a degree, at least 2 years working experience, and then you qualify to enter the program and write the exams, and then you become internationally qualified. My last question, and that's for FASSET. How long does the review process take? Because we've now specialized in the cyber cryptocurrency, a disputed document and handwriting analysis. We've got other factors in terms of forensic lawyers and forensic accountants. We're currently under review for NCIF level 8. How long does the review process take? Because we want people to really be encouraged to join the ACFE South Africa and accredit themselves and grow, not just with their current qualifications, but for the future. A lot of young people sitting there. I'm a Madala and I'm almost 60, but I encourage the youth, especially the young Black, African, Indian female, colored female youth. When we go to universities, they're afraid to go out in the world. We need to encourage them and be there and give presentations and explain to them what their options are, not just becoming an accountant. And then you sit in the office and you can't be inside IT. It's an old description, but you get involved thinking out the Pandora's box. Get involved in, don't have to be in the front line like I am, and the coal face. You sit in the back, but you follow the money. You follow the money trails. You do the process of the red flags. You look at the contract accounts. You see who's been paid. I mean, I do a lot of lifestyle audits, and you must see how many government employees are running 2 and 3 and 4 businesses, and they're doing business with government as well, from police officers to treasury to Department of Basic Education. And on that last note, in the next month, you're going to see a bombshell on basic education. 30 billion rands worth of fraud and malfeasance over the last 18 years. It's going to explode, and names there are going to be shocking. So keep your eyes open for that. So just on my questions, I know I made a lot of statements. Thank you to FASSET. Just how long is the review process from NCIF level 7 to NCIF level 8? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Some insider detail there.
Yeah, and it's newsworthy.
Yes. Mr. Koza?
So in most cases, say our reviews, we normally allocate about 5 into the max of 10 sessions. That takes about 3 months. But the problem starts when you are talking about the fraud examiners. Maybe that one was not, longer because all the participants were there. The problem starts when we call the entire group of professional body, SDP, subject matter expert, to one room. Then you find that half will come. And then we proceed with the work. And then later, the other group come at the public comments. Then they fight it back to say that these are missing, these. And then it takes then in more than 3 months. But in most cases, majority of the qualifications, we're able to do them in maybe 5th or 6th month. It's already with QCTO and SAQA into a registration. But there are dynamics. We find that the sector is fighting each other, accountant, auditors fighting each other. Then we find ourselves in the middle where we have to now come together, try to find a solution. But it's not that long. Currently, there are 2 that have a similar issue, because I know maybe you know it, which is accountant in practice and financial accountant. Those 2, we have went it back and forth more than 6 months already. And now we are at the final stage to do the final wrap up, and then we submit. But it's already there with QCTO and everything, the content and everything. So we have done it. The only thing that is still missing is just the learnership and the ASA exam. Then we'll be done after that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Koza. So I do have 2 more questions in the room. Okay, see more hands. Now it's 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to have to try and manage this so that we are not here past the time that we are supposed to be here, because cost containment. So I'm going to say, if you allow me, if I can take the 5 questions and then we can close. I do have also 2 that are online. So if I can please just take the 5 last questions in the room, and during lunch, please engage with the FASSET representatives. You can easily spot them with the FASSET blazer. Are we comfortable with that? Are we agreeing? Okay, and I promise I'll push for the AGM. Okay, yes, sir.
No, thanks very much, Program Director. I think firstly we must thank, my name is Augustine Bele from SAPO, the Policing Union. Firstly, I think we must say thank you to the CEO and also the Premier's office in the House and the staff of ACTA in KZN. Tolo, thanks very much for coordinating. My mind will directly go to the second presentation, which I believe that it was Mlilo Indoda Emnyama. In your programs, Mlilo, you talked about the program that goes directly to the rural areas, but I do not see the anticipated start and the anticipated number of people or maybe to be covered. Secondly, in your programs, I haven't seen what it's called, of which I believe myself, what is called RE5 or RE from RE1 to RE5. Just a funded program to assist a number of people, not limited to students, and also the people that are working insurance, provident funds, and also the owners or the bank people. So that is what I wanted to raise.
Okay, thank you. Any responses, Mlilo?
I think let me just start with the second one. The E1 and 5, that one is linking 2 seaters, which is insurance and bank, but we do share them with the professional body. Yes, you are correct, but we never had them in our programs directly. It's usually done by the professional body that are linked with those 2 seaters. On the rural development, previously, PM, you want to give more numbers there? Because on this one, it varies, because we were limiting in providers and then we changed it into the beneficiaries.
All right. Thank you so much for the questions. In relation to the rural development, yeah. Okay. In relation to the rural development, in terms of the presentation, was more on the number of projects that we are targeting. And in the presentation, we have touched on the element to say our priority or our strategic implementation is to use the district development model to respond to the rural development needs. At this point, we have not really started with the projects, but there are some areas where we would have commenced with the planning. One of the areas that the CEO has spoken about is the adoption of the schools that are underperforming. And when you look at those particular schools that are underperforming, they are residing within the rural areas. And just to make an example with one school, the one that got 0%, how we are working is through the district, not necessarily directly with the school, but the district in which the school actually operates in. The same approach we're going to take with the KZN one as well as the Eastern Cape. We have been already having engagements with the principal, including the district manager, to assist us in that particular programs. Over and above that, the collaboration that we have been talking about in terms of the district municipalities, the SEDFA as an example, will then assist us in terms of identification of the needs, because we cannot respond not knowing the circumstances that affect those particular communities. So the programs that we're going to come up with needs to be as a response to the problem that we would have identified, so that the intervention that we bring in, it will then be able to have an impact within the communities in which the individuals will be residing in. So in a nutshell, we are no longer going to train for the sake of training. We want to align ourselves in terms of the economic activities of the different districts or local communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mamaroti. Can we have the next question? And please keep your questions as concise as possible and one question per person going forward. I have to be a bit stricter now.
Hello. Oh,
Let's start here and then I'll come there. Thank you. Just turn it on there.
No. Good day, everybody. My name is Fundiswa Nkuna. I'm the chairperson of AWCA UKZN. And I would also like to thank Mr. Mguzula for the invitation and also for being welcoming to AWCA UKZN. To think that I found his number on Google and I called him and asked if FASSET could maybe sponsor and support a few of my students. And then today we're here. Thank you. My question is directed to the CEO. She said they aim to reduce poverty and tackle the high cost of living, and also that FASSET is looking at supporting underperforming schools. So we also know that FASSET provides bursaries to students, which is also another way of reducing poverty. So my question is, does FASSET have plans to support underperforming students at tertiary level, and particularly self-funded students, since we all know that they are struggling financially and academically since they try to tackle school and work to support them to survive, basically. And if so, if they are aiming to support underperforming students at tertiary level, will the support go beyond just financial assistance, like maybe tutoring, extra classes, and yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we get a response in relation to that?
thank you so much, Chair of AWSA, OCA. It's an association that I relate to it as well, because it has been, the organization that has been very instrumental in transformation, in encouraging and producing female Black chartered accountants. So just to answer your question, indeed, as far as we do offer bursaries that come with academic support. We have a program that where the target is 2,500 per year, where we fund about 2,500 learners, underperforming learners in different tertiary education. Actually, we have just allocated, all the universities. Or it has not yet been communicated, but yes, indeed, we do. We spend about, the budget there is how much? About 13 million that we have allocated to assist, struggling, learners in tertiary institutions. Just for, it's for extra classes, and also coaching and mentoring that is part of that program. And what we want to bring as well, and we'll be focusing on it as well, is on the issues of GBV. Learners in TVET colleges, in universities, they experience gender-based violence as well, and it's not always financial issues that affect them, also social economic issues, especially GBV among female learners as well. So that is the support that we give, and we definitely we do it on an annual basis.
Thank you, CE. So I know that I'm taking my last two questions now. There's one right at the end and one over here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Renee Clifford. I'm the HR manager for an auditing and accounting firm, PKF Durban, and look after about 122 SACA trainees. I'm part of the APTEC committee in SACA about transformation as well, and it seems that SACA hasn't really been mentioned here, and there is a big drive from that committee's perspective to get out into the rural schools and to get out to schools as a whole to obviously try and promote the accounting profession and CAs because it's not an attractive profession anymore. How is FASSET and SACA and SAPA actually working together? Because it appears that there's two separate sort of industries working aside each other and not collaborating. So why are we not dividing and conquering together as opposed to you guys each doing it separately? So we as firms are working together with SACA to go out into the communities and bringing them into our firms to educate them. So how can we work with FASSET and get SACA, the firms, and FASSET all together to do exactly what you're trying to achieve? There seems to be a disconnect between the people who are actually bringing in the accountants and those that are educating. And with DUT, I know that they're not even accredited with SACA at this stage, which we get a lot of students that come in, they go through the DUT program, but they're not accredited with SACA, and that creates obviously a gap with bridging and more finances and trying to get them across the line to be accredited. So the big thing is just that exposure and what is FASSET and SACA and SAPO doing together as a team to get out there.
Thank you so much. I know that there's definitely a response here.
No, definitely. Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I didn't get your name. Oh, yes, you're at the far end. Okay, okay, no, it's fine. I could see you from the screen. Wow, there's a lot that you are doing with SACA, with all, almost all the professional bodies, you know, in our sector. But I want to speak specifically to SACA. The majority of the programs that are being run by SACA, transformative programs, they are funded by FASSET. We signed an MOU 5 years ago that ended in 2025, and then we have renewed it for 2027. Probably it's going to go to 2030. One, we are funding now I'm going to reveal my age because it has changed. You know, the program for part one, ITC. You see now, so I qualified long time ago. So we are funding that for repeat classes, even for part two as well. SACA Maths, Accounting, English camps that you see on an annual basis, they are fully funded by FASSET. Which other? We fund Tutuga as well. So really, we are very involved with them. So they are most of our strategic partners in the drive for transformation, transformative agenda, especially for the Black CAs. So yeah, we are funding those programs. Even with SAIPA, you know, there's that Project Achievers program that has been funded by FASSET. It's sometimes a bit, it saddens me. So I'm not mourning, but I'm just gonna unapologetically say this. It's certain sometimes that, you know, the FASSET does not get the credit that we are funding this, you know, these programs. Which other? Oh, so you asked about SAIPA and SAICA. So yeah, we are working in partnership, and most of the funding it is coming from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mama Rosi, do you want to add perhaps winter camps? Oh, you didn't mention them, CE. Okay, thank you so much. But yes, a lot of work does get done with SAICA, and we're hoping that, you know, we can continue to create the awareness so that it's not just SAICA alone that gets the acknowledgement, but it's FASSET as well playing the bigger role. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Program Director. I am Mrs. Tele Umambata from Ulundi. I'm from the Department of Basic Education in KZN. I'm the Chief Education Specialist for Mahlabatini CMC. One would acknowledge and appreciate that FASSET has finally reached us. Let me put it like that. Because we've never had any support from ISITA before. So it is for the first time, and we appreciate it a lot. KZN, everybody is celebrating that we are #1, and the overall pass percentage is at 90.6. And on the ground, we have schools that are underperforming that would have made EKZN to do better. Program director, we really need his support. Most of the people, even if it's not SETA, they will come with shoes, uniform, and stuff like that to support schools. But now we really appreciate that somebody has had a feeling and a sense of academic support in schools. Because even if you go to tertiary institutions, your universities and colleges, intake is informed by us, the schools. And here I have 288 schools, learners from 2 underperforming schools, grade 10, 11, and 12. It's small schools, yes, but grade 10, 11, and 12 of them will benefit a lot from what Mr. Mkuzulwa has presented to us. We are in a deep rural area where learners have never seen even a laptop. They've never even touched, they don't know even a lab, what that is. Then in their history, it's one of its kind. It is one of its kind. So in that area where support is given, we have Umhlolutini Secondary School, which was the real targeted school. And we've added Ustoli Nhlantla because enrollment is small at Umhlolutini. Here, education, yes, is there, but learners in that area, they don't go to tertiary institutions because of the background of the area. There is no connectivity. Even if you offer the online studies, they will never access them. Then they need soft skills, they need study skills. And there is nothing called a library or laboratory in that area. So we appreciate that even teachers will get leadership and management skills. You know, teachers of underperforming schools are somehow, it might not be appropriate that they have, no, let me say they have mental issues. Themselves, psychologically, they need support. Because being underperforming for some time, some of the schools are chronic in underperformance. I don't mean us as education system, we're not doing what we're supposed to do, but FASSET reaching us has brought hope. So they need empowerment, teachers themselves. They need risk management courses because they are where they are because they couldn't, identify what there is a risk that could bring them to underperformance. The short courses esingawanikezwa uFASSET in terms of developing these teachers, because uFASSET will not be with us like forever. So ukuba khona kaFASSET in the area should bring them a boost of some sort and independence. Even when FASSET has left, then they'll be able to lift themselves and the community so that they'll be able to get back in their feet. And we are happy we will have a relationship with tertiary institutions. You see, I will invite the community members and present this as I am talking to it right now, so that this will bring hope to the entire community. You know, as you deal with learners in those schools, you are providing a citizenship of South Africa, different from what it was before. You see, the school informs what the community should be. Then now, FASSET is giving back to that community. It's been isolated. When Uxola drove to that community, anganikeza a testimony of even how the school looks like. You know, in South Africa, there are still schools without admin blocks, no offices, and stuff. That is South Africa and the systemic issues. Then now, these learners, I am sure we are going to produce responsible, educated citizens of the country. And I am happy that FASSET will not just leave them after developing them academically in schools. They will follow them up to their tertiary education. There is a lot that we've discussed in this, but more than anything, umuntu appreciates that in the system, in the school level down there, we've never had any support of this sort. Teachers here, Ngamba no principal and one member of management, they don't even know what SETA does for schools, because it was something up there that has never reached the level of school, especially in the dusty roads where we come from. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was definitely something to go back home, reflect on, and understand in relation to the work that the CETAs are doing, and more in particular, FASSET is doing. So if we can please just one more time, just give it another round of applause, please. And I believe that that round of applause, the second one, also goes to the KZN team, Abokola, and his team for the work that they definitely do, which I think permeates in this room today. So thank you once again to everyone for sharing also your feedback in relation to your treatment and engagement with the KZN office. So I think I want to wrap up the questions there. But once again, we will be having lunch, and during the lunch, you can still engage us. Just be careful, there is another blazer in the room. It's a Nkungu Mate blazer. So if you want to ask about FASSET, find this blazer. Just make sure that the logo matches the banners. Okay, so to close, CEO, I think I would like to allow you to come back on stage and reiterate any points that you would like to reiterate, and then we can close the session.
Thank you so much. I am definitely standing between you and lunch. But I want to say thank you so much for the engagements today. Program director, we have the regional manager from Department of Higher Education, Ubaba Mchunu. Thank you so much, sir, for taking your time to come and join us. You know, the last speaker from the Department of Basic Education, you humbled us, you took us back to reflect what the sitters are all about. Actually, if everyone in the room, that the history will judge us harshly, will not really remember the positions we held, you know, the titles that we had, but the difference and the impact that we made. Actually, as you were saying this, I thought, wow, actually the pressure is on, because you have said we're the first sitter that has gone there to, you know, to the school. So I want to say, I don't want to be the first and the only sitter that goes there. So I'll take the message back to my colleagues, to my counterpart, and say, and ask, what are you doing also to this, to the schools? Because I know there are programs that they are implementing, at the high schools and so forth. So I would really invite more seaters, to come to the school. I have not been into a school. Kola has just gone and inspect, and I'm told that we're going to have an engagement after this, as we want to launch the program in the next I don't know, weeks or months. So, but really, thank you so much. You have really harmed us, and really think that, I mean, and re-emphasize that we are all about changing lives. Other than that, thank you so much for every question that has been asked. We are still available, via emails and so forth. And may you have a blessed day further, in Hazel. And lastly, I do want to apologize, and please pardon us. We will do better next time, that we don't plan an event on a Friday. And if we do plan it on a Friday, I think the timing is very important, because we have lost some of our Muslim, stakeholders that had to, pop up out, and they just go for the prayers. Other than that, thank you so much. God bless you, and safe travels. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much, CE. So to those that are in the room, can I just get 2 minutes of your attention, just one last time? So lunch is served right across the reception area. And as you exit, please just go to parking